Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a podcast that occurs twice a week where we talk sports and shoot the shit. I'm your host, TJ, and with me again, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grump, how are you this
Wonderful
Sunday evening?
Yeah, okay.
Just okay? Yeah,
A little disappointed in some of the football games today. One in particular.
What game are we talking about?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, come on, Grumpy. Come on. After all the Tom Brady love you hear every single podcast, I want to hear that you're a little sad Tom Brady and the little Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost. That's what I want to hear.
True. I am sad. They're poorly coached, undisciplined. They play dumb football. They win because they have talent, but their coaches are nimrods. And they got out-coached today. They got beat by a guy who hasn't played since 2017.
Now, let me ask you a few questions. Well, number one, obviously the penalties are crazy high there, Tampa. I mean, like they're amassing penalties like they were trying to get a high score in some capacity. But let me ask you, does it say more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today's loss, or does it say more about Sean Payton?
It says more about
for the Saints.
For me, it says more about he's a better coach than Bruce Arians by far. They have a way better coaching staff. But it says more about them. They're just undisciplined. I mean, and that falls on the coaching staff. They're so predictable in their play calling and, just in certain circumstances, you know exactly what they're going to do. I mean, they had them stop numerous times and then just silly penalties, personal foul penalties. I mean, why do you continue to hit the quarterback after the ball's been thrown? Or why do you taunt somebody after you make a play? It's dumb. It's dumb, stupid football, and they got what they deserved today, which is a loss. I mean, I can't tell you how many games this year they have had over 100 yards in penalties. It's just dumb. They're stupid, and their coaches are morons.
Yeah, Grumpy. Well, let me ask you this here now. So, obviously, again, not great there for the Buccaneers there today. There was a lot of bizarre calls this week in the NFL, which we're going to cover. Before we jump into it, though, remember, the best way to make sure you don't miss out on this podcast and you stay tuned in is by subscribing on YouTube, liking on Facebook, and following on Twitter. We do this podcast live every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, it's important and pertinent that you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter, Grumpy Old Man.
True.
Now,
that is very important. That's correct.
There were a lot of calls this week that just kind of left me scratching my head. And there were a lot of non-calls this week that left me scratching my head. And I hate to be one of those type of guys where we kind of look at those items, but I just think NFL fans and fans of the sport of football are kind of a little perturbed, and they're upset with the irregularities that we're seeing in pass interference and roughing the passer calls. Now, did you happen to see the fake field goal attempt by the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I did not.
Oh, man. Well, Grumpy, I'll let you watch this. Now, this was ruled not a roughing the passer, right? They've got a little fake field goal here. And again, it didn't affect the outcome of the game because the Steelers still won. That being said, I want you to watch this hit and just see, okay, where he hits him. Does he hit him up, towards the shoulders? Does he hit him up towards the head region, head and neck, which is what constitutes as a roughing the passer after the ball's gone? I'll let you watch this, Grumpy. And again, no flag thrown on this play.
That's helmet to helmet. That's helmet to helmet. Boom.
That's helmet to helmet. There, you see the crown of his helmet coming right up, boop, right up there into the face mask. Man, oh man. And right, this is not a call. I'm no Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a New York Giants fan. I love to see people get absolutely rocked. This is how I wish the entire game was played. I wish quarterbacks all could be hit like this too. No problem at all. But I'm seeing a lot of these Charmin soft type of calls to where, you tap a guy in the shoulder or you hit him around, hit him around the stomach area. Oh, as he's releasing the ball, even if you don't tackle him with the ground, those are now being called penalties. And again, I've been on the podcast and I've said before, let them rough the passer again. You know what that used to do? It used to instill, hey, I get rid of the ball quick because if I don't, I'm going to get my ass hit.
Well, first of all, he's not a quarterback. He's a kicker. And number 96, you're a real hero and a star for trucking a kicker. Woohoo.
I'll be honest with you. As a player, though, you always a kicker. Okay, as a positional player, you look at kickers as beneath you. You always kind of joke around and give them shit. That's just how it is. And to hit a kicker like that, oh, there's no way in hell they're avoiding the tackle. Look how frail Bosworth is. Who's the kicker? Is it Boswell? I don't know who threw.
Chris Boswell. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Boswell. I mean, man, oh man, it's just it's open range right here.
Well, if you ask him what his name is, he might not even know that he's Chris Boswell. He got lit up.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Absolutely got lit up.
Tony G said, "Stop scratching your head, TJ. That can't be good for the hairline." I was about to say,
take it from Tony. Take it from Tony. He knows.
Oh man, what's up, Tony? But I mean, those are not being called as penalties, and you're seeing here today. I mean, you look at certain games. Okay, we can see the 49ers against the Chicago Bears. Grumpy, I think this was the most egregious roughing the passer, unsportsmanlike penalty we saw, or at least I saw this week. And again, it wasn't the most notable one, and we're going to see it a quick little glimpse. So you're going to see Justin Fields is standing up. He just got done throwing the pass. You've got here a guy in the process of making a tackle. He holds up and stops. I'm going to put it in slow-mo. I want you to watch Justin Fields here on this play, Grumpy. Hold on. We got to put it in really slow motion so you could see that. He's standing up, the guy from the 49ers, has his hand on the back of his jersey. And I just want you to watch this. Fields. He falls down like you know what he was doing? I wonder, grumpy old man, if he's trying to act like he's possessed, because we are at the Halloween. Today's Halloween. So is he trying to act like a ghost took him over? So he was falling straight down. He could not control his appendages. So he just went ahead and did a back fall over here, Grumpy. This was called a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty.
I tell you have to be careful with that, because, the league sees that, referees see that, and if they made a call, first of all, okay, why is the guy even touching him though? That ball's long.
We're only catching a little bit of the fraction of this, Grumpy. Here's the thing, though. I'm sorry,
Okay, I understand, but guess what, Mr. 49er, you're a dumbass.
No, stop! You're not even seeing the context before that. He was tackled. Okay. He was tackled and trying to work his way to the quarterback. You have no idea the context.
The ball is gone. It's already on the ground. Why is he even touching him? You're just asking for trouble. And you got, Flopsy Mopsy over here. He feels a little bit of contact. Down he goes.
See, this is the reason why I want, and it's just extreme embellishment, right? And man.
But you get a rep like that, you're not going to get those calls.
I wish when I saw stuff like this, they could go ahead. You know what, Grumpy? I know how much you love instant replay. I know you love it. You love instant replay, grumpy old man. What I wish they could do when I see something like that, throw a challenge flag, and if it's ruled a flop, give them a 45-yard penalty going the other way. That would stop all that shit. You never see people flopping and trying to embellish bullshit. If you had the chance to get a 45-yard penalty going the other direction, that would stop all that shit.
Well,
I mean, it's not like it's an epidemic. It's happening all over the place like that. But you're seeing these roughing the passer penalties are now being given out liberally. Hey, you can have a roughing the passer penalty. Oh, here's a roughing the passer penalty for you. You're seeing these all over the place. You know what? It's only a matter of time before we're starting to see more people just like Justin Fields, because, hey, if I go ahead and embellish a little bit, we're going to get a call, even if he doesn't touch me.
Well, then you know what? You put in an embellishment penalty and you make it a fit minus 15, not 45. You're not going to penalize somebody 45 yards. It's just stupid. Okay. But you make it an unsportsmanlike embellishment. That's how you stop that, right? You want to know how you stop helmet to helmet? Take the helmets off the players. Because guess what? Mr. Pittsburgh or Mr. Cleveland isn't going to light up Chris Boswell without his helmet on. He's not going to jack him up with his head. Not going to happen.
I don't know about that, but the thing is, this is what I'm saying, right? This is not embellishment by Trevor Siemian. This is just a poor call by the officiating crew, right? And this is one. Okay, his helmet gets removed. Does he know he has the ball still? Okay, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. It happens real quick. He stops himself because he's like, "Uh-oh, I don't think he's got the ball." I noticed everybody else is kind of standing around, and this was a 15-yard roughing the passer,
and that led to a touchdown for New Orleans.
I'm just sorry. Like, when I see these as 15-yard roughing the passer penalties, if these are going to be called roughing the passer penalties, you know what? Take your liberties and really go ahead and earn 15 yards.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to take it, if you're going to take that penalty, lay him out, T-bone him, do whatever you got to do. It's only 15 yards. That said, I mean, in that Tampa instance, isn't it illegal to rip a guy's helmet off? Isn't that like a face masking or something, or illegal hands to the face? I mean, it's not like, his helmet's just popping off.
He had his arm wrapped around. It's whatever. I mean, it was bad officiating. I just feel like across the league this week, it's bad officiating. I feel like it's been happening a good bit here. Tony Cheese also saying, love you guys. Don't know why you guys don't have more of a following. Keep pumping out these podcasts. We'll do, Tony Cheese. Thanks for being around, too.
Because Tony isn't doing his job by promoting us outside. He should be pumping us up to all his friends.
Oh, is that what it is? It's Tony Cheese's fault, right, Grumpy?
Yeah, whatever.
John P. also saying, hello, gentlemen. What do you think of the New York Jets backup quarterback Mike White's first start in the NFL? Well, Grumpy, this is a topic I wanted to cover and talk about. Now, let me ask you. I asked you the question, did it say more about the Buccaneers or more about Sean Payton, the win today? Let me ask you that. Does it say more about Robert Saleh, head coach there for the Jets, or more about the Cincinnati Bengals today with the loss they had to the Jets? Because Mike White came out here and man, oh man, he lit the world on fire, like 400 plus yards passing, and I think he caught the 2-point conversion also to secure the victory.
Well, after the game, somebody asked Robert Saleh, is he in the mix to be the starting quarterback going further in the future? And Saleh goes, you never know what's going to happen. Okay, really? I mean, so you spent all that money and a number 2 draft pick on Zach Wilson, and you're saying some streety has a chance to win that starting job after playing a game and a half. Is that correct? I just want to make sure I read that right.
This is the way. Okay, what did you expect Saleh to come out there and say? Oh, man, Mike Smith had a hell of a game. He threw for 400 yards, more passing yards than Zach Wilson's thrown so far in his young career. That being said, as soon as Zach Wilson's healthy, we're going to give him the job right immediately back. I mean, you always say, like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. He's in the mix. There's no way in hell. Everybody knows that's not the case. But, like, we talk about what's some coach talk. That's coach talk. There's no way in hell Wilson's not going to be the starter. And you know how that happens in practice? They say, oh, man, he had a good week there. He had a good week. Let's say Zach Wilson's ready. He's practicing again. What happens is maybe he starts off taking some reps with second string, and then, by Tuesday or Wednesday at practice, he's starting to get some reps in there and doing some drives with the first team. And then magically by Thursday and Friday, hey, Zach Wilson's won the starting job back. That's how that always goes down.
Yeah, but I don't think he's coming back anytime soon with that knee injury. I mean, he's going to be out for a little while, no? I just think it's like, why? First of all, why is that question being asked? And then the guy, he just should have said, next question. That's what he should have said. Next question.
Well, let me ask you. Now, does that say more about the Jets and Robert Saleh or more about the Cincinnati Bengals?
It says about Cincinnati.
I want to paint the picture too. Cincinnati Bengals just went ahead and played the Baltimore Ravens, who were, again, Baltimore Ravens, very, very talented team. And for the most part, the Bengals throttled the Baltimore Ravens last week. Do you think this is a little bit of a letdown game? They say, oh, we're playing the New York Jets, and without Zach Wilson, there was some guy, Mike Smith. Some generic man named Mike Smith out there on the field. What is he going to do? Is that what also happened? They just had a letdown game?
His name is Mike White, not Mike Smith.
Mike White. I'm sorry. I'm not looking right at it. I'm looking for the next thing we're going to pull up after this.
Okay. It says about Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a pretty substantial lead in that game, and it just seems like they went to sleep. And give the Jets credit. They didn't quit. And what I say about Robert Saleh, they might not be the best team in the league, but I like him as a coach. Obviously, the players have not tuned him out, and they have bought in. Because you come back like that, that's a big win for him and for the Jets. I'm not saying the Jets are any great shakes or they're going to compete for a playoff spot or anything like that, but that is a big win for that organization and good for them. Cincinnati, on the other hand, they were the leading team in the AFC going today, and you lost to the Jets. So Cincinnati's not there yet. You can't have a letdown game like that. Can't happen.
Well, you think about it, right? You got a really young quarterback for the most part. A lot of their pieces are younger players. So, it doesn't necessarily shock me if you catch my drift on that one. Think about how long the Bengals have been losers for, a loser organization for the most part for.
Their defense couldn't stop the Jets in the second half. That's all you need to know. You couldn't stop that Jets offense in the second half, just like Tampa Bay. They couldn't stop a guy who hasn't played since 2017 and was throwing the ball sidearm. They couldn't stop him today.
Oh, okay.
Those teams deserve to lose.
You got a lot of self-inflicted wounds there on that side. I think that we're saying. I want to go ahead and show you.
There was a horrible play call against Cincinnati also that cost them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. So now this is one, and again, we'll paint the picture of this too, right? This is a penalty on third down that gave the Jets a first down there at the end of towards the end of the fourth quarter. Now, Grumpy, I want to get your opinion here on this one too. So we're always taught in football, right? You tackle the guy around his ankles. And here we go. I think this is Carter coming in, lowering his helmet. He's trying to get ready for the hit. I really don't know what else you want the defender to do, given I don't think it changes the outcome of the game. I just don't think it does. But I don't know what else you want the guy here, the corner from the Bengals, to do as he's trying to make a tackle on the running back.
Okay. Carter lowers his helmet onto him. Carter's the one initiating the contact. It should have been a penalty against Carter. He initialed the contact with the head.
Or you know what it should be? No penalty on either party. This is called football, ladies and gentlemen.
And here's the thing. I'm going to say again. You want to get rid of these hits? Take the helmet off. He's not going to lower his head onto him. This guy's trying to make a good form tackle. The other guy lowered the helmet. If you take that helmet off, he's not going to be banging skulls with him. It's just not going to happen.
I'm shocked he didn't try to leap him either. You know what I mean? Like when I see a guy like this, how many times do we see those, highlight reel S type plays where they leap a defender?
Well, he's not leaping from the angle that he's at.
No. I'm just saying, I'm just shocked he didn't try it there. But man, yeah. So this play right here was controversial. Again, I don't think it changes really the outcome. I'm not sure the Bengals are marching down the field in order to go ahead and put the points up they need to win. That being said, oh man. Remember when I was saying Dan Campbell, I wanted to see him succeed and I wanted to see him do well for the Lions?
Do you remember what I said about Dan Campbell?
I think you said that Dan Campbell is one of the best coaches in all of football, right?
Yeah. I said he's a clown. I can't believe he got a job. He'll be out of a job this year. Back where he belongs, doing Tank McNamara cartoons.
Oh, Paul F. saying, what's up, boys? Hey, boys, I've got some news. I'm going to the New York Islanders versus Dallas Stars game in April, and we'll be right under Chris King and Greg Picker's booth. Do you guys have any questions you want me to ask them or ask of the team? I don't know. We'll have to think.
Well, we have some time. April's a long time away, but we will think of some questions. Like I said, I'm not giving you a question now because, like I said, April's a long time away.
Sean Woodha. Grumpy old man. And Woodha Films over here saying, grumpy, pick 6.
It was ugly. And here's the thing, though. They were just, you can tell, who does Brady really miss? He misses Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, because I know he hates going to Mr. Softy Mike Evans, who could have sold out on the previous play and dove for that. But, man, he pulled up. He saw that safety coming. Nope, I'm not going to take that shot, and he didn't. Now, there was holding and pass interference on that play, and the same thing on the Chris Godwin play.
Oh, now here's
the thing. He didn't flatten out his route like he's supposed to, okay? But these guys, they need to fight through it. But those are penalties. I mean, New Orleans only had 2 penalties for 10 yards today, and Tampa Bay had 11 for like 115 yards. I mean, come on. I mean, give me a break. Now, some of them were just the dumb football player penalties, the tauntings, the hitting, the roughing the quarterback. I mean, but it cost them dearly. Took away that. Matter of fact, that one that you sort of Will Golston, that cost them a field goal because there was an interception on that play. That wound up costing them the game in essence, right?
Well, yeah, I will say, I love this picture, this image over here, this fella right here. He looks kind of familiar, doesn't he, Grumpy?
Looks like a goof.
John P. also saying 2 to 4 weeks Wilson's going to be out for.
Yeah, so it's not like he's going to be competing for the job anytime soon. And I did say last week before he got hurt, or when he got hurt, it's not a bad thing for him to sit and watch for a little while.
I think he'll come back and he'll be better off like that too. I do agree with that, Grumpy. John P. also saying, yeah, it was a bad call against the Bengals. However, the Jets were winning at that time with less than 2 minutes ago. Yeah, I was about to say, I wasn't expecting that really to change the outcome, even if they had to punt the ball there. What's the like?
Okay.
Here's the one thing you could do if you were the Jets at that time here. Don't let Jamar Chase burn your ass deep because he seems to have he just seems to be habitually doing that to every team he plays. So as long as they were going to lock down Jamar Chase, I don't really think that would have changed the outcome.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? You say it was a bad call, but the Jets had the ball and were winning at the time. But here's the thing, it gave them an automatic first down and ended the game. So if you got a punt, there's still a chance. But there's no chance after that. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad call.
Yeah. Paul F.
Cincinnati has no one to blame but themselves for that loss. They were in command and they gave it away.
Paul F. saying last time they were in town, they were very willing to talk and even came out of the booth for a pitcher.
Oh, good for them.
I was about to say, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Oh. And then Tony Cheese also saying, yeah, White is the first Jets quarterback to throw for over 400 yards since Vinny Testaverde. Holy that's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
It's like 20 years ago. It's like 20 years ago, isn't it?
I remember.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be over 20 years. It's got to be 20 years ago.
I remember when Vinny Testaverde used to play for the Panthers. I mean, that son of a gun. You talk about the career journeyman quarterback. That guy is a quintessential journeyman quarterback, Vinny Testaverde.
Okay, he was number one draft pick when he came out. He was the number one draft pick in the league when he came out. He had, some years where he was really good. He bounced around the league. Yeah, at the end, he was a journeyman, but that's not how it started. He wasn't a guy, who was a streety who comes in as a backup. He was a starter for a long time.
The last year he played for the Jets was in 2003 when he was 40 years old. I forget. That's right. I forgot 44 years old. I forgot he was the oldest person before Brady, I think, to throw a touchdown at the age of 44 or something like that.
Yes.
God almighty. Vinny Testaverde. Oh, that's a name I haven't thought of in a long, long, long time, grumpy old man.
True.
Anyway, that being said, we ran along. Paul F. also said, damn, Jets have sucked forever.
Yeah, some teams are just losers. Owners hiring the wrong people to run the team. And that's what, maybe it's turned around. I don't know. But the Jets certainly have a star-crossed history, with the exception when Namath was there for a few years and when Parcells was there for a couple of years. They've been losers forever, that franchise.
And again, so this is, Saleh might be the guy finally to bring him out of that.
I hope so.
They had some times though with Rex Ryan, and even though Mark Sanchez was not the guy at quarterback, they still were able to string some wins together with Mark Sanchez. They were able to win in spite of Mark Sanchez.
Well, Parcells was able to get them to a couple of AFC championship games, but before that, it was winning the Super Bowl in 1968. Think about that.
A little bit of a trip down memory lane. What a film saying, Paul, you have to go to Dealey, Grumpy. How do you pronounce that?
Dealey Plaza.
Dealey Plaza. It's incredible. Hasn't changed.
Do you even know what that's about? Do you even know what that's about, TJ?
I don't know what Dealey Plaza is. I know it's what, Grump?
Read the rest and see if you can figure it out.
And go to the museum. And in the book depository, it's awesome.
Do you know what that means? Do you know what happened there?
No.
Okay. That's where John Kennedy was shot.
Really?
Yes.
There it is. Okay, fair enough. I knew he was shot. I knew he was shot in Texas. Didn't know where.
Right there. Triangulated. It's like a turkey shoot, as Kevin Costner would say. Movie JFK.
It's funny, Grump. I heard some stories about Kevin Costner.
Yeah, so did I. So have I. Not flattering to him. We will not talk about it here because it's inappropriate.
It's a good story to tell.
Also, I told someone I would not tell that story because I don't want to betray their trust. That's a real trust story right there.
I'm just going to tell you this. I know that person better than you do. I don't think he'd care. But
that's okay. But all I can say is Kevin Costner is not as squeaky clean as he's portrayed to be.
No, he's not. And it also has something to do with a famous professional athlete. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else, Grumpy. I'm not going to be filling out too much, but I'll ask him. How about this, Grumpy? I'll give him a call after the podcast to see if we can share it on Thursday. All I've got to say is I was shocked. And when I heard the story, it just went ahead and ingrained in me that there is no such thing as coincidence. No such thing at all as pure coincidence. None at all. Everything is, hey, what do they say? The squeaky wheel gets a grease.
True.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Alexander saying, good evening, guys. Turning up late. Just got done trick-or-treating with the kids.
You know what? I wonder if Alexander charges his kids a candy tax for taking them out. You know, like, hey, they get 10 pieces, he gets 3. Or do the kids get tired of eating a little bit of candy and then he takes the rest of the bag and eats it over the next week or two? I don't know how that works in his house.
Oh man, Sean would have said, Grumpy, this picture's getting a lot of Facebook likes.
I bet maybe laughs. Now, see, that's got to be Wooda's son. I'm saying
that's me.
No, I know it's you in the picture. Sean Wooda has to be Wooda Film's son, I think.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Alexander saying, yeah, Mike White looked good today. That for certain he did. Yeah, good for him. I root for those guys. Wooda Films was saying, Grumpy, I'm going to criticize Brady every chance I get. He's too good, Grump. He's not even human. So every chance I get, he's going to criticize Grady.
I don't blame you. You should. I have no problem with it. You could tell he was pissed today with the guy. I'm just going to tell you. I'm sure he likes Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but in big moments, he doesn't go to them because Mike Evans is Charmin soft and Chris Godwin, here's the thing. I think Chris Godwin is better and way tougher than Mike Evans, but it's like they go into vapor lock. It's certain, both of those guys just make mistakes, like on hot reads. He tell them he's got to do something. They just don't do it. They're just dumb. I'm sorry. They're dumb. They're just not super smart football players. And I'm going to say Evans, I don't want to say they're dumb. I just want to say, I think their attention to detail is lacking a lot of times. And that's why he goes to Gronk and Fournette and Antonio Brown.
Well, you look at some of the battles that corners and receivers have. Look at even tick the clock back to when it was at the time period, the Washington Redskins against the Carolina Panthers, I believe it was, against the New York Giants. Do you remember? And again, you look at these two players when they weren't matched up against each other, they were fantastic at their trade, just like Marcus Lattimore is and just like Mike Evans is. But when Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman would face off, they'd get to where it's just like some players happen to bring out the worst in other players, and it completely takes them off their game equally. So, I mean, Josh Norman and Odell Beckham Jr., you remember the fights they'd have? They're swinging and punching each other where it's just like they're losing their brains out there, and they're thinking to yourself, where's your composure? You're a guy who's an outstanding football player, and again, you usually do your craft extremely well, but for whatever reason, you know, Odell Beckham Jr. or Josh Norman just happens to bring out the worst in you, and it makes you act like a crazed lunatic out there on the field, which isn't good for the team's success.
Yeah, it's like you got to use your head. I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of dumb football players out there. But Mike Evans, Marcus Lattimore is always in his head. He's got a permanent.
Marcus Lattimore is a fantastic corner. Marcus Lattimore is a fantastic corner.
He bullies him, and he doesn't know. He's usually invisible whenever he plays against Saints. He had a touchdown catch today, but in big moments, I would never throw. But here's the thing. The offensive coordinator, right, Byron Leftwich, they had 1:43 to go in the game with a timeout, down by 2 points. Brady's got the ball at 25. That's like a can of corn walking down the field. But nope, because they're so dumb, they don't realize, you know what? All we need to do is nickel and dime it down the field, get in field goal range at the end, kick the field goal. 30-yard pass, 25-yard pass. Why? You don't need it. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's Byron Leftwich dumb. Okay? The head coach is another moron. Arians, no risk it, no biscuit. Well, you got the loss today.
Grumpy, it's okay. Every time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose, I don't need you.
Okay, no. Even when they win, I say how stupid their coordinators are.
Alexander saying Vinny Testaverde. Oh, that name will live in Dolphin fan infamy forever.
Yeah, he played for them for a while too.
What a film saying. TJ, Grumpy, I posted the TJ drinking out of the fire hydrant. That was for you. No, so Sean Wooda and then Wooda Films, the same people, Grumpy.
Okay, I didn't know. I know he has a son, and I didn't know if I don't know all the names. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Alexander also saying, guys, these calls for roughing the passers are so atrocious. They are not. They're not even funny. Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, like this is the point, right? You always talk about how the pendulum swings. I'm afraid we're nowhere close to where it starts tilting back in the other direction. I don't think with football it ever will. You're going to just keep on seeing more and more and more of that, where the pendulum continues to swing and more touch fouls continue to get called.
They don't want the quarterbacks getting hurt. That's what it's all about.
I don't care what they want, because guess what? I want to tune in. I want to see real freaking football. I don't want to see two-hand touch football, because that is what this is going to become. So what is it? Every time in practice, the quarterback wears a different color. Maybe we're not allowed to tackle the quarterback. Maybe we have to have two hands on the quarterback. And we have to hold it there for 2 seconds, and then that counts as a sack, so we can protect the quarterback. Well, we don't want them when they're following through to hit players' helmets. That sometimes break players' hands, and we don't like them falling to the ground like Matt Ryan today. He got his hand stepped on, and he wasn't able to throw the ball very well the rest of the game. Do you see what I mean? Football is a sport of physicality and brutality. It's a sport where you're meant to get hurt if a big hit's delivered. Every other player on that damn field delivers hits. Why should quarters, why should cornerbacks, why should wide receivers be any different?
No snowflakes allowed.
That's not no snowflakes allowed. It's just let them play. Here's the thing. I don't want players targeting at a helmet. I'm not for that. But guess what? If a player's following through his pass and he's with one step, drive the hell out of the quarterback into the ground and crunch his ribs. No problem with that. Just like everybody else. Don't hit him at the head. I'm not for CTE. Guess what? Your ribs, your abdomen, that all repairs. Hey, you don't have to worry about that. The head's one of those things that don't really get better once you start hitting the hell out of it. So I'm saying, hey, if you hit the hell out of him in the ribs or something like that, no problem at all. Don't be calling everything a freaking penalty. It's pathetic. I wonder how long it is, if ever, before they start reverting back and they say, we're going to let him play a little more.
Okay. If you want to see that type of action, go to YouTube and look at games from the 1970s and 1980s.
Pull up my
then you'll see all those quarterback hits you ever want to see.
Pull up my VHS.
Let me tell you something. Those are the good old days. I love football back then. Yeah, they didn't score 50 points a game, but I tell you what, you knew you played.
I think there's a happy median. I don't want people targeting people at the head. I'm fine. I like that. I think that is good. Good that they go ahead and take out, hey, we don't want any head to helmet to helmet contact where people
take the helmets off.
Possible passes.
Take the helmets off.
And then Paul F said, all right, Grumpy, remind me to ask you guys again there the question in the closest podcast before the game, if we've got any questions there for him. We'll do.
I'm going to have to write that down because April's a long time from now.
TJ will forget to ask, and I'll ask after the game. TJ, do your job better.
No, that is supposed to be TJ's job.
Oh, man. I'll have to make a note of that. Hopefully I remember what a film said. Yeah, but TJ, your picture's getting a lot of likes. I can't figure out why. They must think, who the hell is this guy drinking this mountainous jug over here? But moving right along. Alexander saying, TJ, it's fitting to show Grump that picture I sent you. Oh, well, Alexander wanted to go ahead and rub it a little bit in your face, grumpy old man, with Tom Brady with his loss. And he wanted to go ahead and champion a little Aaron Rodgers action. So maybe you'll find this interesting. Difference between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers can get it done with literally anyone. Tom Brady needs a loaded offense and top defenses year after year after year.
Actually, the difference is Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls and Aaron Rodgers has 1. That's the real difference. He's the greatest of all time, and Aaron Rodgers is, just what he is. He's the Dan Marino of his era. A guy who puts up a lot of fancy stats, but not a winner.
Who did
he play for? Who did he play for?
He played for Miami.
Miami, right? Yeah.
Mike M said, when you said you tried to take back time, he said, too late. You said dumb, Grumpy.
I did say dumb, but it's a lack of attention to detail is what it is. And maybe that is dumb. I mean, that's your profession. You should know that. A wide receiver, you run the route. If something, when Brady sees something and he's calling it at the line, you got to pick up on it. If you don't, that's on you. It's dumb.
And then Alexander letting you know, yeah, he does it when they go to sleep. He gets to eat their Halloween candy once they go to sleep. Slip a few. Well, here's the question. Which candy do you like to take more of all? I mean, is there any type of candy that your kids don't like? I feel like that would be optimal. I couldn't eat like Almond Joys. Like there's certain candies I'm like, no way in hell. Ugh, Almond Joys.
Actually, the real question is, does Alexander give his kids some Benadryl when they come home from trick or treat so they go to bed earlier so he can start hammering their little candy bags.
Grump, is that what you used to do?
No.
Oh man,
My kids got sick and tired of the candy after a couple of days, and the warden took it, and that was that.
John P said Rex Ryan was a coach of those two Jets teams that made it to the AFC Championship. That got they got that far on defensive play and running game prowess, not Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Parcells got him there, I think, 2 years in a row though when he was coach. I didn't think Rex Ryan got him to the championship game. Maybe he did, but they were certainly no threat to win it. That's for certain. Certainly not with Sanchez.
He did, and I think it was the year after they went to the second AFC Championship game. I think that's when the butt fumble, the infamous butt fumble, happened. I think that's one of those things where you could tell any even casual sports fan, I feel like anybody who casually watches football games, and if you mention butt fumble, everybody will know that was Mark Sanchez. Every single person I feel like would know, oh yeah, that was Mark Sanchez.
Okay, I'm going to disagree because you didn't even know where Kennedy was shot, and that was a way bigger thing than the butt fumble.
I'm saying right now, right? If you watch and you were old enough to watch and be like cognizant of football, I was not around when Kennedy was shot, Grumpy. I'm sorry, I didn't know the building from which Kennedy was shot from. They took that out of, they don't teach that in our history books, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know, Grumpy.
I don't even want to talk about what they teach in schools.
Alexander saying Evans and Godwin are one of the best wide receivers tandems in the NFL.
They're, you know what they are? They're stats guys. When the game is over, man, they put up big numbers, lose, 52 to 36, and put up, a whole bunch of empty stats at the end of games. That's what they are. They beat up on little teams, but in clutch moments, you watch as the season goes on in clutch moments, he will not be throwing the ball to Evans. Maybe Godwin, but you're going to see Rob Gronkowski and Antonio Brown getting the ball in those passes. You're not going to see him going to Evans. Evans is the last guy I go to. He's absolutely the softest football player I've seen in a long freaking time. He makes AJ Green look tough.
He reminds me of Demaryius Thomas. Again, a guy who he's a little tougher than that. Grumpy, did you happen to see this old clip of Randy Moss and Bill Belichick? This is back when Randy Moss was still a member of the New England Patriots, back when he was playing with Brady. Did you happen to see this clip regarding Halloween?
I did not. Actually, no, I think I've heard of it, but I did not see it.
I've met Randy Moss before, and it's funny that he sounds like this. This is back when I used to work at the movie theater, and I met Randy Moss, and he was wearing his hoodie up and everything like that. And he didn't sound like Randy Moss. Randy Moss has that like distinct Southern accent that he carries there on the TV and everything like that. When I was talking to him in line, I said, man, you look an awful lot like Randy Moss, but he didn't sound like Randy Moss. And he took his hat off. He's like, oh yeah. Or took his hood off. He said, yeah, I'm Randy Moss. And he had two of his daughters there that just got done playing volleyball or something. And I was just like, he didn't really sound like I would have expected Randy Moss to sound. But I want you to listen to this little clip, Grumpy. I think you'll get a kick out of this. This is it's a little humanizing for Bill Belichick.
You're not interested in that, are you?
In what?
Halloween party? Well, this is what it is.
We're dressed as the devil.
No, that's what we're doing. Hey, you might win the damn prize. Trying to, get us a little DJ, get us a roller rink, and have us a good night. But like I said, you're more than welcome or whatnot.
I'm sure.
It's like, for instance, Halloween. I mean, we don't go out no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we still have that.
It's a great holiday.
It's
a great holiday.
So we're
candy and costume.
Yeah.
How can you beat that?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, before we get to actually the Halloween costume, how forced does Bill Belichick sound like he's trying to be human right there? Oh, yeah, it's a great holiday. Yeah, who doesn't love Halloween? I'm like, oh, God almighty. It sounds so forced. It sounds like he has a difficult time communicating with people.
That is so cringy, looking at him try to be human.
You want to watch this again here? Because Randy Moss.
Oh, I don't.
He's a very personable guy. And I'm watching this, and Randy's trying to do anything he can to be like, hey, we want Bill to come. We want to be
fake smile. Look at the fake smile on him. Yeah, get out of my office.
God almighty.
That's what he's really saying.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of this.
Halloween's a great holiday. So it's like he's trying to do small talk with somebody you meet on the street.
He's trying to do small talk with his star wide receiver that he has on as a member of his team that he sees every freaking day. Right? It's a guy you see every freaking day, and it seems so forced. It seems like this is the first time. It's like I've been paired up with somebody on a train ride, and I'm going to be sitting with them for the next 8 hours, and this is the real conversation I've got.
No, what it's like is there was some type of contest, and the winner gets to spend an afternoon with Bill Belichick or 10, 15 minutes with Bill Belichick, and he's just trying to do some small talk, just to pretend, give on the facade that, yes, hey, I'm really interested in Halloween and all this other stuff. It's just not who he is. And I think Randy Moss is from West Virginia. That's why he speaks like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I spoke with him, and again, this is the accent I expected, and maybe it was just because of I didn't really know until the end of the conversation was him, but I expected a much more southern draw from Randy Moss when I met him. That being said,
Again,
I just got to watch this one more time.
So have a good night. But like I said, you're more than welcome or whatnot.
Sure.
It's like, for instance, Halloween. I mean, we don't go out no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we still have that.
It's a great holiday.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
know
great
what I'm saying?
holiday.
So we're
Candy and costume.
Yeah.
How can you beat that?
right.
There's Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Look at Bill.
And there's Bill. He outkicked his coverage.
He's slipping and sliding all over the place at the skating rink. Oh man. You could tell it's very difficult for him to try to be human or to try to have some sort of I can conversate, I can have a normal conversation with you. Maybe that's why he's such a good NFL coach though.
Yeah, that's just not who he is. He's not a guy who's outwardly personable with everyone he meets. He's just not. Good coach though.
Fantastic coach. Eli says, I loved the Jets play calling today. The lateral plays were so much fun. We haven't had that much energy since the preseason.
I say whenever teams are doing a whole bunch of trick plays, they're desperate. And, they got absolutely hammered last week, gave up 51 points. It was nice to see them come back. I mean, let's give credit. They could have folded up their tents and gone home already, and they have not done that. Kudos to the Jets and to the coach.
Now, Grumpy, did you happen to see that trick play?
No.
Well, it was on a 2-point conversion, and that's what gave them.
They ran the Philly special.
What do you mean the Philly special?
This is the Philly special. That's what it's called, where they give the ball to a tight end, and then the quarterback runs the other way, and they throw the ball back to the quarterback.
And it was called the Philly special.
That's
But that's Mike Smith right there. Putting the nail in the coffin.
Mike White.
I'm going to keep calling him Mike Smith, damn it. I'm sorry. Mike White.
Why don't you just call him Joe Smith?
I can call him Dan Smith. That seems like an even more generic name than Mike White. So what can I say? I apologize. Eli also said, apparently first Jets quarterback to throw, or since 2002 to have a 400+ yard game. Yep. Tony Cheese said, Vinny Testaverde. Oh man. And then Alexander said, no snowflakes allowed, a la Josh Bailey.
True.
Tony Cheese saying every position should be treated equally. Quarterbacks are football players too.
Yeah, they're the ones who put the butts in the seats and who make the TV ratings go up, so they're treated differently. That's why it's happened. That's why it's done.
I'll tell you.
Don't want quarterbacks getting hurt. It kills ratings. What's the NFL care about? Did they care about the quarterbacks? No, they do not. Absolutely do not. Don't let them think. Don't let them convince you otherwise. Quarterbacks are a necessary evil to get where they want to get, which is money. That's all they care about. TV ratings bring in money. The next TV contract brings in money. That's all they care about. They could care if the players, if they thought they could make more money by killing the players on the field, I think they would consider it.
You think they would consider if they could make more money by killing players on the field, they do it?
Yeah, accidentally on purpose. Yeah.
Good gracious.
That's all they care about is the money. All they care about.
Well, speaking of the money, did you happen to hear that John Gruden is going to be exploring the possibility and mulling the possibility over suing the NFL and or Roger Goodell over the release of the emails that end his employment with the Raiders? So the rumors are that the NFL was sitting on these emails for a while. And
they were. It's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. That's an actual fact.
And the rumor is that the NFL possibly went ahead and leaked these emails, and John Gruden wants to say, all right, here's the thing. I want to know who leaked the emails, if that's the case, or want to know what happened, who had access to these items, and he wanted to know where this all started. So I'll be interested to see if John Gruden has any type of case. Here's the thing: you said what you said. You sleep, you sleep where you sleep. That being said, I hope out of the entire bit, if he does go ahead and brings forth a lawsuit, I want to see what else was in those emails, those 650,000 emails. I want to see, because apparently only 3 of them had any issues with them. I want to see what else was going on with those 650,000 emails.
The NFL's lying. Everyone knows they released the emails. When the first couple weren't good enough to get him fired or make him resign, they released a couple more. They're full of shit. Okay. They wanted this guy out for whatever reason, and I hope he sues them, and I hope he wins. Because first of all, they're personal emails. He was not employed by the league at that time. Why are we holding this? Why is his job depending on something he does in his private life? I don't know. I just find it infuriating.
I have no problem that he got fired once the information came out. No issue at all. Reason being, again, just like if you were to do something you're not supposed to do and you represent the company. And
he wasn't representing the company. He wasn't representing the NFL.
Stop. He's employed by him.
He wasn't at the time.
Are you going to stop? I want you.
No, I'm not going to stop because
listen. I want you to do something called stop and listen to somebody else's opinion besides yours.
But your opinion is asinine.
Yeah, okay. Why don't we do something called stop and listen to somebody else's opinion besides yours?
Let's listen to it, then I'll shred it. Go.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have no issue. What happened. You say things like that. And again, that's in the culture we are. You're going to occasionally lose your job. Things like that happen. You can argue, quibble. Hey, if something said 10 years ago should make me lose my job, whatever. That's just the way the culture is. That being said, I do have an issue as to who released the information and what happened and what is more underlying behind that and what is else in those emails. Again, I do not think that those emails that John Gruden sent were the only ones to have any sort of I don't even know what to call it, any sort of like questionable things mentioned in them. Out of the 650,000 of them that were there, I'm sure there are a lot deeper and darker areas that they're not showing, and they wanted to use him as a sacrificial lamb. I would be interested to see how many other people would be tied to these type of emails if they released everything.
Okay. You should not lose your job over something that you said in a personal email over 10 years ago. That's just freaking ridiculous. He wasn't talking about a group of people. He was talking about individuals. He said something about Roger Goodell, right? Oh, he's homophobic. He's hates women. He hates black. Please. I mean, I'm just going to tell you again, I don't believe in ever applying laws or what should happen to someone using today's standards going retroactive. I just flat out don't believe in that. If you do that today, fine. But to say, okay, we're going to apply to, it's like if you make a law today and say it's retroactive to 50 years ago. Would you like that to be prosecuted that way? I know Grumpy, I wouldn't.
Here it is, Grumpy. He's not
and
under law.
They were personal emails, nothing to do with the NFL, and he wasn't working for the NFL at the time. That's the problem I have with it.
Okay. He said the things he said. I don't care if it happened on here's the thing, right? He shouldn't be saying those things. Are you saying
I didn't say he should be saying them.
Okay. Here you go. When you say things like that, however they gain the information, it's not the right thing to say, and it's not the right thing you should be.
That doesn't mean you should be punished for it 10 years after the fact. I'm sorry. If you say it today, fine. I mean, he wasn't talking. He was having a personal email conversation with somebody talking about other people. Personal email. It's not like he was doing on company letterhead. It was a personal email.
Doesn't matter. What does that teach you, right? You can't be sending anything.
What it teaches is that there's lack of freedom in this country, I guess. That's what it says. And I'm not saying that he should or shouldn't have said those things. I'm just saying the fact that you can go into someone's personal information and make them lose their job, that you're really on a slippery slope there.
It's not his personal information. He sent it to somebody, a work computer of somebody else. So that's why they have gathered those emails. It wasn't like they said, oh, because we think maybe there's something underlying with John Gruden, now we're going to go ahead and claim his information too, so we can see that. No, he was sending this information to the owner, right to the owner of the Washington Redskins.
He wasn't the owner. He wasn't the owner. It was the assistant. It was a GM at the time.
Okay.
Bruce Allen was a GM. He wasn't
General manager of the Redskins at the time. If you don't want to, here's the thing: if you're going to say something that you shouldn't be saying, don't damn well be saying it to somebody else's work computer.
So, in other words, don't say anything to anyone, or we're going to burn you at the stake.
No,
That's
don't.
what it says.
Listen, Grump. Don't say what you're not supposed to say. I don't see what's so hard.
Let's say social. Let's say what's appropriate socially today changes 10, 15 years from now. You think we should retroactively go back and punish the people from today for what the standards are 10 years from now?
No, what I'm saying here is this, Grumpy. Look at the conversation. Look what he said. It again, not allowed to say things like that. You aren't. He was okay. You said 10 years ago. He was making comments 3 years ago too with these same exact things. 3 years ago, Grumpy old man. Okay, hasn't changed that much in 3 years. No. One of the comments was 10 years ago. One was 8. One was 5.
Okay,
and 3.
So you're a social justice warrior. Let's punish everybody for things that were done in the past.
No.
Okay, I got your point.
What are you not understanding?
I understand that's how you think. I just think differently. I don't think you
turn
should
off.
ever go
You
back
just turn off
retroactively.
a different opinion. You just said,
I just don't believe going back in the past, punishing people for things that were potentially acceptable in some way, shape, or form 10 years ago, and they're not now, and we're going to punish for what he did 10 years ago. I don't believe in that.
How about 3 years ago? 5 years ago? All I'm going to say is this: if you're
Let me tell you something. There's been dramatic change in all the social justices in the last 5-10 years. Things that you could get away with 5-10 years ago, you can't anymore. Okay, so that's just what was accepted.
You're getting hung up on the wrong. You're getting hung up on the wrong damn spot. And again, you're stuck on this one spot, on the John Gruden spot. I'm talking overarching, and you're fixated on this. That's
exactly what I'm saying. I don't care that he got fired. I could care less. What I'm saying, the great overreaching thing is, you're looking into someone's personal information and persecuting them over it. Where I'm going to guarantee you that others potentially have done the same thing, but they're getting a pass. That's a problem I have.
You and I disagree on that point.
That's fine.
Yeah, we don't have to agree on everything. That's for damn certain. That being said, moving right along here, we got a comment here. What a film saying, Grumpy, the Bucs got burned on a taunting call. You should maybe rethink your thoughts on this call. TJ Wright. They're not even able to show any emotion. Refs are getting carried away. Well, isn't that funny, Grump? When you said, well, no, they shouldn't be allowed to even just flex and be happy when they make a tackle. They should just go ahead and do absolutely nothing, right? They should make a play, go sit back on the sidelines, make a play, be silent, not make any noise, go right back to the huddle. Maybe they should communicate in Morse code. Maybe they should go ahead and communicate in side language out there in the field to keep some of the emotion out too.
Okay, here's the thing. He's a dumbass because he knows the rule. He decided to get in Ingram's face, and who knows what he said. He was in his face. He flexed in front of him. Sorry, it's been taunting all year. If you're too dumb to realize that, you deserve the penalty. I blame that on the coaching staff. They should say, hey, dumbos, stop doing that stupid shit. You're costing us games. If you can't control yourself, I'm going to sit you on the bench and find somebody who can. It's a dumb penalty.
Or maybe the refs should just go ahead and not.
No, maybe they should flag him.
Just go ahead and let him freaking play.
You know what? That's after the play. I don't care. I'm glad he got flagged. It doesn't change my opinion at all. He's too stupid to realize, penalize him. Great. That's what should happen. Stop that stuff. Just stop it. Pretend like you're an adult. Pretend. Even if it's for 60 minutes on Sunday. Just pretend.
Tell you've never played a professional sport or a sport at
all. Oh, so you're saying you taunted opponents when you played?
You have no idea.
Did you taunt opponents when you played?
Hold on. Do you have any idea about any emotion when you're out there in the field? The answer to that question before you try to go ahead and change and subvert the question I'm asking you is no. You have
correct.
No
the answer is no.
idea.
You know what? Did you get in someone's face? It's always the same guys doing it. It's always the same guys doing it. It's either a defensive back or a linebacker or a wide receiver. You want the guys who actually don't make a whole lot of plays, who aren't involved in the real physical aspects of the game. Somebody laying a big hit. I just don't believe in it. You believe in taunting people? Great. Good for you.
I
Because
believe
guess
there's
what?
guess what? I believe there's a fine line. Just like I believe there's a fine line with all these personal foul and roughing the passes. I believe there's a fine line. Let them do what they want. You don't target the head. If you go out there and knock the hell out of someone and you drive them in there and you break a few ribs, no problem at all with that. Your ribs will heal back. Again, your brain does it. And if you go ahead and stop a guy and break up a pass or light the hell out of a wide receiver as he's coming across the lane, he catches the ball, makes a turn, and you hit him in the ribs and he snaps 5 ribs and you go, I've got no problem with that at all. Guess what? Quarterback shouldn't be leading the pass like that where your wide receiver is going to get killed. That's how the game was used to be played.
You don't have to get up and get in their face. You don't have to do it. You want to be a showboat?
It's
Great.
subjective because
Bam.
it's not in
Hit
the,
him with the
not in
flag.
the face. Oh, God.
Land them. I like it. And here's the question for you. Did you ever do, after you laid somebody out with a block, did you ever get them go, bleh? Did you ever do that?
Grump, do you
Did you ever do that?
Grumpy, do you not see all the time when an offensive lineman pancakes a defensive lineman, they climb over the top of them and drag their body over?
No, I never see that. I never see that.
Happens all the time. I've done it.
See that.
I've never seen it. You don't watch the offensive line. You never played it. You don't watch it. Hold on. Stop.
You didn't answer my question.
Stop. Yeah, I have. I've climbed over defensive linemen. No problem at all doing it. So here's the thing, Grumpy. They should have flagged me. Here's the thing.
Twice.
Yeah, they should have flagged me twice. Guess what? I don't have to climb over somebody and drag my body over them. I could just stand right up. That being said, guess what? Football is a man sport. Football is a sport where you assert your dominance on another individual. And guess what? Dragging your body over somebody else as you just dominate them on the play just adds a little bit of that. Hey, I'm going to be here all game long and I own you. This is my field. Anything that's going to happen on this field, I'm going to dominate you with. So I have no problem at all with them doing stuff like that. That's correct. It's called emotion. It's called what football is.
If it's a man sport, stop acting like a child.
Ugh.
Stop acting like children. And just, you don't have to do that.
I got to move on, Grumpy, because we're going to disagree on these points. We're an hour in and we have so much to cover. Paul F. said, by the way, TJ, where are the T-shirts for the Islanders Never Say Die podcast? I want my Maddie and the Jags T-shirt before Christmas.
We have to get...
There's one last design we're waiting on. Which is,
not only that, we have to get some legal things worked out too as well. We have to copyright.
Grumpy wants to get the legal stuff worked out. I said, I don't expect any of our fans to try to start stealing or selling.
I'm not talking about our fans doing that.
You're
I'm
saying
talking about unscrupulous people on the damn internet. People who like taunting. That's the type of thing that they do. The rules don't apply to them. So they should be able to steal whatever designs you have, right?
Oh man,
Because rules don't apply to them.
Oh man.
Let them do whatever they want. They want to take money out of your pocket. That's cool. They're just being innovative. They're just, showing how competitive they are.
Is that what it is, huh?
That's what it is.
Yeah. What a film's saying. Is there going to be a comeback for the Astros tonight?
I hope not. I'm rooting for the Braves.
I'm rooting for the Braves too. I mean, this is This is the first time they've been back to the World Series in 20-something years?
I think so, yeah. First time. I know they won in 1995. That's the last time they've won. I know that much. You know what I hate, though? You look at the teams, and the analytics geeks are just totally ruining the sport. They had a guy, Atlanta, on Friday night, pitching a no-hitter through 5 innings, through 76 pitches, and they took him out because, that's what the analytics say. Just dumb. I mean, do you not see the guys dominating? Why do you not just ride that guy? Are you so afraid to take a stand? Let's go back to analytics. It's because, guess what? The analytics geeks, because they can't play, okay? They don't have any talent, but they want to be involved in the game. They ruin the sport.
Okay.
Go back with your slide rule. Stop getting involved in sports.
You're talking about Ian Anderson, who had that no-hitter going through 5 innings. Here's the thing. The Braves beat them 2-0 and only surrendered 2 hits the entire game. So you could say the analytics geeks. I will tell you one thing. It was mind-boggling and head-scratching after 5 innings. He had a no-hitter going. And again, he had maybe walked 3 batters, but he had that no-hitter going, and you took him out. I mean, I would say that definitely argues against all logic, and the only way you can come up with that solution is via analytics. Here's the thing. It worked out for him. They shut out the Houston Astros and only surrendered 2 hits over the next 4 innings. So you could say the analytics geeks are ruining the game. I don't think analytics are good for baseball, but I think this is a showcase and one of those reasons where if somebody is supporting analytics, they could say, look right here. All logic would say keep Ian Anderson in the game instead of bringing in XYZ, instead of bringing in AJ Minter and the Luke Jacksons and the Will Smiths, who went ahead and played in relief. So you could say maybe it did work out in this situation.
I always try to win with my best players. That's what I do. If I got a horse out there who's able to go 8 innings and give up a couple of hits, I want to ride that because it keeps everybody else fresh. And then you can mix and match, do whatever you got. I never believe in pulling out a guy too early. Never.
What if Eli's saying, please no, and I'm rooting for Atlanta. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pulling for Atlanta here too. What a film saying Tom Brady is the king of sports, you guys. Just admit it. I'm not a fan, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, he was pissed today. You could tell he was pissed at some of the plays they were doing out there. His thing, they run the wrong routes. They don't recognize coverage. It's got to be frustrating to him. Like I said, that's why in the last few weeks when Antonio Brown was in there, that's who he went to all the time in big situations. He never went to Evans or Godwin because they're always doing something wrong. Tough to depend on guys like that. They got what they got today.
Yeah. That being said, Alexander said, Grumpy, I'd steal a Kit Kat, Twix, Snickers, and Skittles from him. I'm about to say, you talk about candy tiers, that's got to be in your A or S tier of candy because who doesn't love a Kit Kat bar? Ooh, a Kit Kat bar. Even when let's say it gets melted or something like that, I'd still eat the hell of a Kit Kat bar and some Skittles. Ooh, now let me ask you this. I eat Skittles 2 different ways. Grumpy old man. Now I feel like Mike Leach, right? Remember we showed the clip of him talking about every type of candy he eats. I eat Skittles 1 or 2 ways. Either I put them in my mouth and I swallow them immediately, or I go ahead and chew them up until they become like sugar, and I chew them like with a really granule. Have you ever done that before, Grump?
I
eat Skittles 2 different ways. If I'm feeling like, hey, I just want some Skittles in my body, I'm just swallowing them whole.
I like to separate out the colors.
See, I don't. I'm like a heathen. I just shove them all. I just pull a handful out. Go, whoop! Here we go. This is gonna taste good.
But then you can't taste any of the flavors. You got like a flavor mashup.
I've got a conglomeration of a whole bunch of different flavors in my mouth, and it tastes delicious.
I like Skittles. I just like to eat them, the same color all the time. I don't like the green ones. I don't like the candy apple. I remember they used to be lime. They were really good then.
A long, long time ago.
Long time ago.
Tony She said, nah, you have to tell them that you're checking for razor blades and poison when you take the candy you want.
Hey, that used to be a thing back in the day. You never eat anything that wasn't wrapped or store-bought, like apples, because people would stick, razor blades in there. That was
would they really stick razor blades in there?
I don't know, but that's what I was certainly told. That here's the thing: are you going to take a chance on that? I'm not.
Were you told that because your parents wanted to take your Halloween candy and it stuck with you? Maybe you still thought that they were sticking razor blades in candy apples.
It was just things that were like not wrapped, not professionally wrapped.
You want to know the funny thing is, as much as like I know candy apples are one of those quintessential like Halloween candies, I've never actually had a candy apple. I've never had, even after, I don't know why I never have. I feel like I'd lose my teeth because I feel like it's so sticky. I need to go to a store and get myself a candy apple, but I never ate one on Halloween. I've never had a candy apple.
You just take an apple, jam a stick in it, a couple of razor blades, and then, put some caramel on the top, melted caramel on the top.
Do I put the stick in the apple first or the razor blades first?
Probably the stick first and then jam the razor blades in afterwards.
Okay, but every single candy apple has to have, how many razor blades would you suggest into the candy?
I don't know. Like I said, it was old. Here's the thing. It's scary. I was never eating one. That's all I know.
Oh,
no way. I don't even think they have razor blades like that anymore. Like this, like the little Gillette, twist them in the thing. They don't even sell them like that anymore, do they?
You just put like a straight razor in. Just go. Stick one in there. Tony Cheese also said, I was at that butt fumble game right behind Fireman Ed, I believe. That was his last game.
Oh, I thought he was there longer than that. Well, here's the thing. That was a Monday night game, I believe, against the Patriots.
What was it? Was it like for almost an entire year that was ESPN's top not play?
They still show it periodically.
I was about to say, it's a gift that keeps on giving. I know that Mark Sanchez, he's worked himself into a role where he does a lot more speaking and items like that. But if he didn't, that would be one of those things that would be the gift that keeps giving all the time. You could show that.
He's a color commentator now is what he is. They still, like they say, like the 10 most embarrassing moments on NFL Network. That one's always in there. I know they film it every couple, whatever, 5 years or whatever, and put new ones in there, but that's always in there. It's always top 10.
Mm-hmm. And then John P. said, yeah, Rex Ryan was a coach in 2009 and 2010 when they made it to the AFC Championship games.
Okay. I didn't realize they made it there 2 years in a row when he was coach.
I mean, you think about the Jets too. If Zach Wilson could be the guy, that's the first time, since Chad Pennington, that they've had a quarterback that could be, sufficient in order to help them win games. I mean, Chad Pennington, if he didn't have the shoulder injuries, I think he would have, had a much more successful career. I mean, you think about it, he had so many miles on that shoulder.
Yeah, he's like Kirk Cousins. That's who he was like. Not great, but good enough to you can win with. I'm not saying championship level quarterback, but certainly, top 10, top 15 quarterback in the league, not an embarrassment.
What a film saying, Grumpy, you and I both know that TJ should know where Kennedy was shot. It's a sad reminder of the way things are now. We lived in a great time, Grumpy, where we learned a thing or two.
Very true. That's right. It's like today, what they teach in schools, I don't even think they teach American history anymore, if you can believe that. But it's like history didn't even start until 1980. Like nothing existed before then. It's sad.
Well, through my education, one of the first classes I took was "This is not a taunting penalty, and here's why" 101. And then you go ahead, and if you excel in that class, you go to the next level where you get to learn what taunting penalties are not and why they shouldn't be called that. So that's what we're focusing on a little bit more in school.
Well, here's the thing. I think, once again, I would love it if you think the taunting thing is so great. I think the officials should taunt the players who get flagged. Hey, offensive lineman, wham, flag in the bait, holding, ha ha, back you go. That's what they should do. Cool.
I'll be honest with you. I know it would be tapping against it. That would be freaking hilarious. Could you imagine an animated referee who's like holding, and he's like doing something crazy and over the top bombastic? I think that would be. I think teams and players would go freaking nuts on the field, but I think it would be something fun to watch. I would be very interested to see if that would be, add a little extra wow factor to the game. I think it could add a different dynamic.
That would stop immediately. If an umpire did that would stop immediately. They'd shut that down in a second. You're not allowed to do that. I think if you think taunting is so great, everyone should taunt everyone because that works out so well. What will happen eventually if they didn't start stepping on those guys a little bit, you're going to see something really bad happen after a play where a guy's going to get so pissed from getting taunted that he's going to take action, maybe try to blow a guy's knee out because you know what? You want to rub it in? Good. I'm going to show you. I'm going to chop you at the line. Try to end your career. How's that for taunting?
Oh.
Tell me you couldn't actually see something like that happening at some point in time. I certainly could.
Say it again, Grumpy.
What?
Tell the story and scenario again that I couldn't see.
Where a guy's getting taunted relentlessly by another player. He says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of you jamming it up my butt that something's happened. I'm going to chop your knee and end your career. Oh, well.
Has it ever happened before?
I've seen guys take runs at guys when they're out of bounds. I see that happen all the time.
Hold on. You can't hit players out of bounds anymore. It's a penalty.
So what? So is taunting. There you go. What's the big deal? Light a guy up on the sideline. He's been rubbing in all day. Light him up on the side. It's only 15 yards. Who cares? Especially if your team's getting rolled. Because that's when they really do the taunting, when they got you down. They don't do it when they're losing because it kind of makes me look stupid. But, when the light's all on me, I can rub it in on somebody. We got a big lead. Well, you know what? Things go around. What goes around comes around.
When you're up 30 points, people aren't really taunting other individuals. They're just like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. We're beating the hell out of the Atlanta Falcons. We're beating the hell out of the Carolina Panthers. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Let's run the clock out and get the hell out of here. Don't do anything.
Do you even watch any of the games?
That is verbatim what coaches say. If
coaches might say that, but do you actually watch the games? Because they love it. You see a guy intercept ball. Oh, the whole team's got to go by and, hey, look at me. Woo, 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 woo. I mean, that you want to do that, that's fine. But, if somebody wants to chop you at the line because they're sick and tired of you showing them up, you shouldn't have a problem with that either. I'm just saying, when you do that, all it does is piss the other guy off and you never know what can happen. That's all.
Why can't the other guy control himself? Why can't the other guy?
Why could the taunter control himself? Why couldn't the taunter control himself?
Fair enough.
Show a little bit of self-restraint. Show like you've been there before. Show a little class. If you're capable of it, maybe you're not capable of it. I don't know. You're obviously not.
Oh, fair enough, Grumpy. Fair enough. John P. said 1997-98 Parcells again orchestrated a remarkable turnaround in this first year of the Jets. First season with the Jets, the team barely missed the playoffs with a record of 9-7. The Jets were 1-15 the year before Parcells arrived and won a total of 10 games in the previous 3 seasons combined. In 1998, the Jets went to the playoffs with a current franchise best of 12-4 record, which is good enough for second place in the conference. Talking about Bill Parcells and his immediate turnaround there, the Jets organization. Grumpy.
He was an amazing coach, and he turned teams around everywhere he went. Everywhere he went.
What a film said, TJ, you said Saturday. Can I order a shirt? Not yet. Grumpy wants to make sure. We want to make sure that I guess we have like trademarked or whatever like that.
Yeah. So. We don't want someone going out and just kind of, stealing our stuff and, saying that, it's theirs and stuff like that. Because that's not right. It'd be like they'd be taunting us. Look what I did. You did the work. Like, woohoo! Look at me. I'm cashing in on your intellectual property. Woohoo!
It sounds like we may be conflating the two just a teensy little bit, Grumpy.
Maybe not.
John P. said, by the way, Elijah Vera Tucker is turning out to be one of the best picks of the Jets 2021 draft.
Agreed.
See, I didn't think too highly of him. I think he's still weak in certain aspects. Again, I haven't watched enough of Jets games to look at him specifically, but I'll take your word on it, John. I'll have to watch a Jets game. I'll have to look for Vera Tucker. Alexander said, "Oh, he sent us a little bit of a fan fight." Now, Grumpy, Grumpy. Now, this is an older fan fight. Now, this is back when it used to be the Oakland Raiders. So everybody loves themselves a good fan fight. That's for certain. I'll go ahead and turn a little bit of the volume up. And I hope, Alexander, so we've joined in. These guys are already looking like, okay, let's go back here. These guys are already ready to fight, Grumpy old man.
These are all the Mac guys. And White Shirt Mac look like the referee.
They're all saying, I'm the real Khalil Mack fan. This is, I think, what the battle is. Right now, we've got 3 individuals all wearing Khalil Mack jerseys, all thinking that they are the biggest Khalil Mack fan, and they're going to fight it out.
So here they're going to be next. It's going to be Hat Mac. It's going to be Black Shirt Mac and White Shirt Mac.
Who's Mr. Hat over here with the leather jacket on? He looks like he's got his hands up ready to fight and punch. So maybe it's just 2 big Khalil Mack fans against maybe this guy's got his Khalil Mack jersey underneath his like leather jacket. I don't know. We'll have to watch. Yeah, these two look like they're squaring up.
He's Mickey like in Rocky. He's like the trainer.
Okay.
White Shirt Mac is the referee, it looks like now. And he's refereeing Hat Mac and Black Shirt Mac.
Okay. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
That deteriorated rapidly.
Was that?
That deteriorated rapidly.
Yeah. Well, what's his face didn't want. I guess the guy at the first bit. I'll have to go back to this. He didn't really want to fight, even though he's looking like he's ready to fight. He's got his hands extended, ready to fight. I think he was the one who was like, once he saw the actual contact going.
Who fights like this? Who fights like this? Who throws punches like that? Is it the slap contact? Look, he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
No, he's getting ready. I don't know, Grumpy. He's just getting ready.
Like this, right?
Adrenaline's pumping. The adrenaline's pumping for these guys. Grumpy, what do you want me to tell you?
I don't know, man. I get those fists.
But he's saying, let's go. And then he's like, let's stop.
Oh, and then he jumped the other guy. I don't know. Looks like, defend yourself. He's not Mickey. I take it back. He's not Mickey.
Oh, see this guy. I'm not a fan of this.
You gotta protect yourself.
Okay, he wasn't, dude. He just got his ass cold cocked, Grumpy.
Well, but he should. The guy went at him once. You're not even looking at him again. He's coming at you. He's shovel stepping at you.
Look. He's looking at Hat Mac. This guy, number 52, was the original Mac that he was fighting off against. And his partner, his buddy, White Shirt Mac, White Shirt and Black Shirt Mac were on a team. Black Shirt Mac got knocked out. So White Shirt Mac was still looking at his opponent. And this guy comes over here, Mr. Leather Jacket, and comes in cold cocks his partner, White Shirt Mac.
No, Mr. Leather Jacket. Okay, unless White Shirt Mac is blind in his right eye, he's got to see this guy out his peripheral coming at him. He's got his hands down. Dude, This guy, he's shuffling. It's not like he's Muhammad Ali. He's a big guy and he's like lumbering over there and he's got his hand down. Get your hands up.
Okay, I just want to take a look here. I want you to take a look
at
at
this.
Howie Long. I want you to take a look at Howie Long, grumpy old man. We'll put this in slow motion. I want you to take a look at Howie Long in the hat back here. I will tell you one thing. Mr. Leather Jacket looks like he's crow hopping into this punch.
Yes.
So we'll watch this in slow motion.
1, 2. And he kind of missed him. He only kind of grazed him. Didn't look like he hit him flush. I'll tell you what, Mr. Leather Jacket's a cheap shot artist, though, without a doubt.
Yeah, I was about to say. Here's the thing. If you're I'll tell you one thing. I hate that. I hate when it's not close enough where it's just like one person pummels the hell out. I'd like it to be a little bit of a, each side's kind of getting some punches in. I don't like it to see like a bloodbath or like a slaughter. At least if both of them are getting, a few punches in, it looks like they're more competent fighters. Like these guys, I'm sorry, white shirt and black shirt Mac are still on the ground, just absolutely decimated by, Mr. Hat Gang. You got leather shirt and the other Khalil Mack fan. Hold on. This guy right here looks like he's a part of security. Look at this. I want you to look at this.
That's a PJ character. He's going to wait till it's over and then say, okay.
He's got his headset on. He's got a headset on. I'm pretty sure this guy's part of the security team or something over here. The guy in the red jacket over here, fluorescent red jacket. He's got to be a part of something. He's got his little hat on. Maybe he works at one of the concession stands. I don't know. But I feel like he's a worker. He definitely has one of those little speakers on. And then here's Howie Long just kind of moving about.
He's probably got to go to the bathroom, I think. He's like, come on, guys, I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
I'll tell you one thing. Just look at all the fans that were around this. I mean, that was a pretty big fight that broke out. I just want you to look at these fans. They're all just kind of standing in line still, just like, God almighty, these freaking lines to get these chicken fingers that my kids are complaining and crying about are freaking so long. Look at all these people just lined up, just like, just trying to get some food.
One thing that never changes are fan fights. It doesn't matter if social things change or anything, they're always the same from 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago to today. They're all the same.
And then Sean Woodha, they're saying, I'm going to start a TJ fan cast. I don't know what a fan cast is. What's a fan cast, Grump? Do you know what that is?
I don't know. I'm not up on any of that.
Alexander said, Grump, Gruden is a racist piece of garbage. You do things like that, you deserve to get fired. I don't care how long ago it was. You say things that I don't want to hear. No, I'm sorry. I said that's who you are in your real heart.
Okay. I'm not talking about what he said. I'm not talking about the specific what actually happened. I'm just going to say, let's say something is acceptable, and I'm not even talking really about him. I'm talking about in generalities. If something was socially accepted a long time ago and then it changes 30 years down the line, I just don't think you should be able to go back and hold what was socially acceptable. I'm not saying this was even socially acceptable. I'm just making a greater point that something that was okay to do 30 years ago, you shouldn't be able to punish somebody today using today's standards going back in time.
And here's the thing, right? It's not black and white. And that's why I said every situation is different. I think every situation is different. It certainly is, because here's the thing too, right? Looking at something that was done 10, 15 years ago, again, this situation here, he also made comments 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And again, you can argue how inflammatory they were, whatever. That's not what I'm here to do. You say certain things happen. It's just how it is. That being said, when you look at something that happened let's just use an example, 10 years ago, and you use it and look at it here in today's scope, you're also assuming that the individual also has not changed. And I'm a big believer in thinking a few different things. I do think that people can change for good. I really do. And I always believe that, again, if you show them the way, and again, he might be the same exact person he is then that he is now. But that's why I think, if you have those talks and people that know him, you'd like to think, okay, is this a person, if he's opened up to me and he said things like that before and he was saying at practice the other day, okay, this still is an issue. This is still something he does now. Or if this is some guy who seems contrite or he wouldn't do something like that. I do believe that people can change. And that's one of the things that I think is, like, I'm not a supporter of cancel culture, but when you say certain things, you do have to be held accountable to a certain extent.
I think if you know better, do better. And I kind of look at it that way. Okay, well, maybe that was acceptable or whatever. And I'm not talking about the Gruden incident. If something was acceptable and now it's not, and you, oh, geez, you know what? Gosh, that's kind of not acceptable now. If you learn from it and you change the way you think, I don't think you should be persecuted for something that maybe happened 10, 15 years ago. I watched the movie Friday the 13th, right? The original Friday the 13th from 1980. Think about how long ago that was, right? It's over 40 something years ago. And the first scene, there's one of the girls, a trucker gives a girl a ride to the front entrance of the camp, whatever it was, where they, where all that stuff happened. And he helps the girl up, a teenage girl. He was a middle-aged guy. And he put his hand on her butt to push her up in the seat. And the first thing everyone said was, oh my God, I can't believe he touched her on the butt. And it's like, okay, see, that's what people think now. But back then, no one ever thought that. The guy was just helping her in the truck. And that's what I mean. Like, would you want to persecute that guy? Realize just a movie for something. Oh gosh, look how he touched her butt 40 years ago. We should burn him at the stake because that's sexual harassment now. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the incident specifically about John Gruden. I'm just talking about the whole culture. I just don't believe just because things change, and I'm not saying what he said was right 10 years ago, but I'm just making a broader point is all I'm trying to make.
Fair enough, Grump. What a film said, all jokes aside, my son isn't here. He's probably playing video games, but he loves your podcast. Grumpy speaks, and he's got Grumpy speaks, and he's got the attention. But TJ, he stands up for. I think you're his favorite. Aha.
Yeah, see, that's the way it is because he likes the young TJ character standing up to authority. Watch out, Woda. Got a problem with him.
Paul F. there says, Grumpy, welcome to the destruction of cancer culture. TJ, you're wrong. Meatball Parm says, TJ, typical social justice warrior. I'm not a social justice warrior. As soon as Grumpy said that, I'm like, I'm the furthest thing from a social justice warrior. I just believe, hey, if you say certain things, you're going to be held accountable. That being said, I do believe people can change. That's why you can't say cut and dry, hey, look at this. I believe when something like that happens, you have to have a sit down. You got to talk with them and get the feeling of, hey, is this anything I think maybe I've picked up on before in the past? But the people close to the Gruden situation knew him better than anybody else, knew him better far certainly than I did, or anybody else who just looks at an email and says, okay, that's exactly what he is, and that was his intention. That being said, moving along, what a film said, Braves are up 4-2. The Braves are up right now again, like 5-4. These are comments from a little while ago. But what a film's also saying, cancel culture is a freaking disaster.
It's it's like, for me anyway, I always believe in freedom of speech. Even if you don't like it, you should also be able to say something. It shouldn't be vilified. Even something that I find abhorrent, it's still America, and you should be able to say whatever you want. That doesn't mean I have to like it or believe you or agree with you, but I do believe it's your right to say whatever you want. I mean, that's just me. I don't care if somebody says something about, you know what, that's your opinion. I mean, I don't know. I just don't believe in trying to silence points of view.
Yeah, no, I do understand that.
And I'm not saying that what John Gruden said was a point of view, if you know what I mean. I'm just talking about the cancel culture in particular.
Yeah.
The thing about the Gruden thing is he was made a scapegoat for Dan Snyder and whatever else was whatever. And that's why I hope he wins the lawsuit, honestly.
Well, I hope what happens from the lawsuit is the rest of the emails get revealed, because remember, Mark Davis went out there and said, I would like to see John Gruden release the rest of those emails. John Gruden said, oh, no, that's not something we're going to do. That's not something we're going to be able to go ahead and do, blah, blah, blah. Gave a lot of corporate speak he would. That being said, right, I think this lawsuit is going to do one or two things. I want this lawsuit to be able to provide possibly who leaked the information. We all expect it's the NFL. If it's the NFL, I can deduce then to say, why is the NFL only releasing certain dribs and drabs of information? And then I want to go ahead and I want to see what happened to the remainder of those emails. If we're going to release certain portions, if we're only going to see 3 of them, I want to see what else is in there. I think other inflammatory items are in there, and I want to know.
I'm certain there are. And why wasn't Bruce Allen fired for not reporting John Gruden for saying those things, right? Shouldn't he be canceled too because he didn't report it to someone? You see what I'm saying? It's I don't know. Here's the thing.
It's funny you said that. Tony Cheezel said, fire all people who received the emails and didn't report it. That's
right. I mean, isn't that the way we like to do things also nowadays? If you know about it, you're guilty too. I don't believe in it. I just don't.
Would have Film said, TJ, I forgive you for being a millennial. Paul left there saying John Gruden was punished wrongly. I'm a Gen Xer in a millennial's body. And then Tony Cheese saying, I'm a boomer in a millennial's body. Would have Film saying, this is bullshit, TJ. The way we're dealing with this bullshit. Grumpy, no, just listen to my friend. Grumpy knows.
I mean, like I said, it's just frustrating to see these things, and it's all one way. It's all one way. You don't see it never going the other way.
And then Meatball Parm says, taunting penalties should not be in the game. I agree with you on that, TJ. And the personal foul calls and the penalties on the quarterbacks are ruining the sport. That for certain it is. Now, Meatball Parm, Grump, I have not eaten dinner yet, and I'll be honest with you. Whoo, that Meatball Parm's looking kind of good. Oh, man. I haven't had a Meatball Parm in a long time.
Yeah. Well, look where you live.
Well, here's
where you live, dude. You're not going to get good Italian food there. You live in freaking Arkansas. Maybe,
I live out.
Barbecue.
I live out in the center of the country. That's right. I don't live in Arkansas, Grumpy.
You live in Arkansas, right?
I live out in the center of the country. I do not live in Arkansas.
Okay, well, here's the thing. They're not serving good Italian food out there. That much I can tell you.
Yeah, they're not serving good Italian food out here in the middle of America. That's for certain.
Unless you're in New York, New Jersey, forget it.
Yeah, Grumpy. That being said, I just saying, I haven't had a good old meatball sub in a long, long time. Alexander saying, hell, I remember when I was playing high school and I sacked a quarterback after the play. I got in the quarterback's face and started running my mouth. Then I went to the sidelines. My coach benched me for the rest of the game, and I got the lesson after that.
There you go. See, and Alexander was smart enough to learn it, and I guess Devin White is not.
Yeah. Well, that being said, moving right along there. What a Film said, that's great, Tony. I work hard for my kids. I got 19 and 23. These are tough times to grow up in. They need some good advice. No kidding.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel bad for young people.
Yeah. Meatball Parm also says, you need a bigger water bottle, TJ. I was about to say, this is what usually gets me going to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah, it's too big. You need to categorize yourself for a podcast.
What a Film's also saying, their adrenaline's all fired the hell up. They're expending energy. It's normal in football. I hate the taunting call. They just call it just like, the NHL is called a shove in the back.
All they need to do, if you're excited, you don't have to look at your opponent and turn away from him and do whatever you want. That's not a penalty. When you do it in the guy's face, you deserve to get penalized.
Meatball Parm also saying he likes some chewy spree.
I like the non-chewy sprees.
Why is that? Any particular reason?
I just like the ones that are hard and you can let them soak in your mouth a little bit, and then it soaks it up. It soaks up your saliva, and they're nice and crunchy, not super crunchy. Where they're going to break your teeth. Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
Alexander's also said, as a Mets fan, I'm rooting for Houston. As a Houston Astros. See, I'm not. I don't know. I feel like after the Houston Astros went ahead and the cheating scandal got brought forward, I'm not pulling for the Houston Astros anytime soon.
I'm just not rooting for them because Atlanta hasn't won in a long time, and I usually root for the underdog. So that's why I'm rooting for Atlanta.
Fair enough, Grumpy. What you got in your purple drink over there?
Purple drink.
Just purple drink? No. What brand of purple drink is that?
It's Aquafina water with Crush little mix.
Oh,
Purple
there
Crush.
it is. And then Tony Cheese said, TJ is one of those guys who walks in the office with a gallon jug of water. Actually, I walk into the office with this same exact jug. This is the same. Believe it or not, I don't have a fake, like a stage gallon of water that I use for the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man and the Islanders Never Said That podcast. This is my multifunctional, I use for everything water bottle.
No more further comment needed.
Alexander said, a couple of years ago, I went through my kid's bag and found a crack pipe and a razor blade.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Really?
And his kids are young. I think Alexander's kids are young.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It's tough being a parent today. Very, very difficult. I was lucky. I have to admit, I was lucky.
What a film saying, TJ, you said taste delicious. I can't taste because of a brain injury. You've offended me now, and you owe me an apology, or I will sue. Welcome to cancel culture, TJ. Oh man, oh man.
Right there, you go.
Here's Paul F saying, sick burn.
That was a good one.
Here's the thing, right? There's certain things that you're not supposed to say, and he knows he's not supposed to say. And again, it always is bad intent. And again, I'll stick with what I said. I don't like looking at something that happened 10 years ago unless it's something abhorrent, because I do believe people can change. That being said, moving along, grumpy old man. Moving
right along.
Moving right along. Alexander also said, yeah, they don't teach social studies in school, and my daughter is 8 years old, and she doesn't even know what 9/11 was, and they don't teach that in school. Wow.
If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's all I'm going to say.
Tony Cheese said they had to retire the butt fumble for not top 10 because nothing could beat it, and it was a Thanksgiving game against the Patriots.
Yeah, I remember it was a night game. I don't know why I thought it was a Monday night game. Okay, I know it was against the Patriots. I know it was a night game. I just don't remember the day. That's even worse. It's probably worse being Thanksgiving. Everybody's home on Thanksgiving watching football.
What a film saying, of all the sports, I think NBA has the most sportsmanship among players for real. And Paul F there saying, I think it's hockey. I was about to say, I think basketball players do. I think hockey players have a lot of sportsmanship for each other as well. I mean, there's obviously a few of those guys who are just like, but like you look at maybe rugby players. I mean, out of the big sports, though, I feel like it's probably hockey.
Yeah, I think the worst is football. That much I will say. I don't think you see too much of that in baseball either. You don't see too much of that in basketball. Or hockey. You just don't see it. But in football, you see it all the time.
As Andrew said, TJ does look like the type of player that would get into an opponent's face.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing, right? Your job out there is to win the battle, down after down, and however you got to do it. Mental warfare, physical warfare. I mean, you want to win. That's all it is. All it is out there on the field, nothing personal. What a film said. When I went to Dallas, I was talking with a lady, a black lady at a store, and told her that I was going to the hockey game. And with that Texas accent, she said, "Hockey, those guys are crazy." True story. That was great.
Think about it though. If you're not a hockey fan or don't know about it, what's the first thing you think about?
They beat the hell out of each other. They fight each other on the ice.
Right. They're allowed to fight each other during the game. You don't see that in other sports.
I was about to say, in Texas, unless you follow hockey, you go someplace down south, they're like, oh yeah, those guys are insane. And the funny thing is too, you see a lot of people, and again, being in the middle of the country, they don't watch a lot of hockey. And again, you see them, and it's like, for the most part, like, hey, if they ever go to a hockey game, they're like, oh man, the atmosphere is crazy. People are banging the hell out of the boards. People are going crazy inside the arena, and they're fighting each other. It's just something that's completely different. It's not like any other sport. I mean, you throw punches in football, in baseball, and basketball, you're getting thrown out of the game. Hockey, hey, you're going to sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes. You can come back out here and play.
True.
That's all I got to say on that one. Is true.
True. You said it perfectly, TJ. I don't need to expound on something where you actually do it.
That being said, what a film saying. I have to say, TJ, I love you, but enough of the muscle shirts, please.
Yeah, you got to have some muscles to wear those shirts.
Oh, goodness gracious. I look at it like this.
Can't you wear a regular shirt?
Do you want me to wear regular shirts? What's wrong with you wearing a cutoff?
Okay, the people want you to wear a regular shirt.
I almost want to make sure the Islanders Never Say Die gear that I get is all going to be cutoff shirts. How can I do that? Maybe I'll just go ahead and make it all in cutoffs.
A friend of mine who listens to this podcast said that I need to buy you some shirts.
Why is that?
Because your apparel is terrible.
As you're wearing your foreigner shirt there, Grumpy.
It feels like the first time.
I wore an average Joe's gym shirt, Grumpy old man, from Dodgeball.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I love it. What can I say?
They weren't wearing tank tops in that movie.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
No, definitely not.
Alexander is saying, TJ, Grump, What about fans destroying their TVs after their team loses? That shit always blows my mind. I have never been that. I've been like, I've watched games and had a lot riding on a game before. I've never gone crazy enough to where I've like taken a baseball bat or punched a hole through a wall or slammed a TV screen down. I don't get that. That's like my property. And I think to myself, I'm like, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to smash this, and like a day later, I'm going to say, "Oh wow, I really wish I can watch the football game, or I really wish I can watch TV."
I can't. Now, here's the thing: I've never smashed. Now, I yell at the television though when my team is doing poorly. Like today, I can't tell you how many "you're so effing dumb" did I say during that Tampa Bay game today, with all the stupid crap they were doing all game, and I'm just going off on how dumb, stupid, just the coaches are morons. How dumb as a football player can you be to do something like that? Get your head out of your butt. You're going to cost them the game, and they wound up costing the game.
Oh, looky there, Grumpy. Looky there. I will say one thing too. You see sometimes people bring weapons, like they'll use like, and you see this too, like when people play video games, they'll throw and smash like their Xbox or their video game console, or they'll smash their computer, or they'll smash like a remote. That never makes sense. That stuff never makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What's going on, man? You're right. You've been like staring off.
I'm not staring off.
I'm not staring off. What do you think about oh, goodness gracious.
I need to get him a drink.
What a film saying, I love the Friday the 13th. That a boy, Grumpy.
I don't think the Friday the 13th movies are great. I like Halloween, the original Halloween. But I mean, the ending of the first Friday the 13th had me jumping out of my seat. I watched it with my son the other day. He came over for my birthday, and we watched it, and I knew what was coming up, and he had no idea. And I touched him at the right point. Like, ah! It's hilarious.
Oh, good. What a film said. I'm just joking, of course, about the apology, TJ. I'm trying to make a point about cancel culture. I don't mind. I understood the point you're trying to make. And again, I think everybody, when you look at it in the black and white lenses, everything's in gray. Nothing's ever black and white. What a film's also said, yeah, it's normal not to agree on everything. That's what makes us think. Yeah, for certain it does. And Alexander's saying, yeah, they don't serve good food, Italian food here in Florida.
No.
I was about to say, in the central portion of the country, they do not serve good Italian food either.
No, New York, New Jersey, maybe Connecticut.
You know what's bad? When I had to go search for a pizza place and a pizza joint, the best one we have is it's like a chain pizza place, like Domino's. Here's the thing. I'm never going to a place called Mike's Pizza, or I'm trying to remember the pizza shops they have around here. It's like really generic sounding names, and they'll have it to where it's like CC's Pizza. Those are the pizza places out
Welcome
here.
to CC's.
It's like a welcome to CC's, where they bring out a whole bunch of food, and it's like, hey, you just tell them what you want plopped on top of a pizza. I'm like, oh, where's like the artisanship and the craftsmanship of like an actual pizza pie? Like, I want some New York style pizza. They do not have it out here where I'm in the central portion.
You got to remember, it's the cheese and the sauce. That's all made up north, and it's too expensive to ship to other parts of the country, honestly. So they go with cheaper brands or whatever. I mean, yeah, it's a shame.
Meatball Parm said, over or under with Tarasenko 30 goals?
Over. I'm big on the over.
Really?
Yeah. I'm all in on Tarasenko this year. All in. That's my take, right? Hasn't been my take. I'm not abandoning it now when he's got 4 goals in 6 games. I'm not abandoning my take now. Maybe the end of the year, okay.
I think I'm not a big over. I could see him scoring. I could see, like I say, I think projection wise, I think he's scoring anywhere between 27 to maybe like 36. Yeah. Again, like the big over, I'm not sure. He's definitely. I don't think he's reeling off 40 goals this year.
No, I'm just thinking. Here's the thing: if it's 31, it's over.
Yeah. Sean Wood is saying here, we love you, TJ, changing my my picture after the podcast, of course, but Grumpy nailed the water bottle. We all win.
Very true.
Yeah, Alexander's saying, yeah, I was in the candy bags, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I tell you what, we had no trick-or-treaters today. Just two people that were from the same family. Nobody. Yeah. Maybe it's those signs I put up there. No peddlers, candy kids, stay away.
Oh, man.
Turned all the lights out.
Oh, no. Alexander said, hockey players have the most sportsmanship. Let me
Yeah,
let me ask you this, Grumpy. Speaking about trick or treaters, now are you one of those people that give the candy one by one when the kids come up to the door? Do you give them handfuls, or you just leave a bowl out there of the candy? Because there's always different people when you go trick or treating. Some people just leave the bowl of candy out there and say, "Hey, take one" or something like that, and let the kids take it by their own will and volition. Or you're a person who actually doles out the candy to the kids.
I dole out the candy because here's the thing: you might as well put out an empty bowl of candy, and you get away with that, saying, "Hey, just take one." Put out an empty bowl. Somebody's going, oh, well, whoever they put a bowl out and somebody took the first thing. So you don't actually have to give any candy. That's probably a good idea going forward. I'm glad I thought of that. No, but I like to hand the candy out.
Oh man, oh man.
Let me tell you something. How it used to be done back in the day, usually would be moms. Okay. Sorry. Not to offend women, but the moms used to make little candy bags. They used to get the little bags and they bring all different types of candy. They put them in there, staple it, and they just hand them a bag. And it's just not like that anymore. People don't have time or whatever. But it was great back then. We'd help make the bags, sneak a couple of the good candies out, swap out the junky candies you get for some of the good candies. Yeah, you could take those Mary Janes and whatever the other. There's certain things I didn't like. So licorice.
What if film said, I told both my kids, if you're going to have fun or break the rules or smoke pot, neither one of them drinks or does any hard drugs. I'm so lucky. Alexander, keep pushing, my friend.
Yeah. It's being a parent is the toughest job you're ever going to have. And like I said, I got through it. And I think my kids are both very, very well adjusted. Never had any drug issues or alcohol issues. Even if they drink now, I'm like, dude, nothing good ever comes from drinking alcohol either, honestly. But, it is what it is. But yes, Alexander, keep doing it, brother.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely there. Also, Meatball Parm said, I miss the days of Darius Kasparaitis and Scott Stevens. There is hardly any hitting in the NHL now. And if you do, you get jumps for doing so. It's so soft.
Right. Not just like a hip checks have been eliminated. Dennis Potvin was great with the hip checks, as was Darius Kasparaitis and Scott Stevens. Now you hit a guy with a good solid check, it starts a fight. I mean, checking is still part of the game. What they should do is eject the guy who checks someone, whoever goes after a guy who throws a good check, they should eject them. That'll stop it.
Is that what you think it is, Grumpy?
Yeah. And when they say, hey, you're ejected. Woo, woo, woo. Out you go.
Grumpy, you'll catch a good little glimpse of this here. Now, this is just a compilation of different individuals watching sporting events and smashing their property. Oh my God. This stuff is always like, it's hard to watch and believe. Now I'll put some volume on for some of this.
At the goal line, when you have Marshawn Lynch.
Okay, here's the thing. Do you ever see that one? Like, goodness gracious. Now I gotta watch this one again. This is obviously planned out because his buddy had the film. They both had
at the goal line. When you have
they both have their cameras out. So I'm like, I don't get it though. He had a chance to think about this. It wasn't like an immediate reaction, like I'm getting pissed off. I just spontaneously rip or run through my TV. He's like, guys, record this. I cannot believe they did this. I'm gonna tackle the TV. No, you won't, man. We don't think you're gonna tackle the TV. And he freaking busts through his TV.
It's just silly and dumb. Why would you damage your own property? It never makes any sense to me. That whole thing is staged. He's probably getting a new TV the next day anyway. That's an old projection TV. Oh, jeez. Look at this guy.
This does not look like an old TV.
Come on! Look how ridiculous he is! Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me! Where were you at? Oh my God! He sucks so bad! I can't do it! Okay!
I'm so, like these. Some of these are so fake. I can't even watch them. I'm cringing.
You know how you know they're fake? If you catch something where they're not commenting in the background, they're just kind of watching it go on, and there's nobody else around, and you can tell. I mean, all these have been set up. When you have somebody, on the porch as a guy's throwing out, okay, that's a setup. Yeah, I mean, the ones that are the best are the ones where, it's just real emotion. Those are the best.
Jesus, man, oh man. I was about to say, I'll have to sign. That's some of those are a little cringy. I'm sorry.
There's a legendary video going around with some real emotion. I'm just going to tell you that.
What's that?
There's a legendary plate video going around that has real emotion.
Tony Cheese said hockey hands down is the best sport to watch live. No doubt about it. And What the Films also say, yeah, baseball. Good point, Grumpy. I think baseball has some class and managers' arguments are legendary.
They were great. Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, Tommy Lasorda. Oh, it was great. And the umpires didn't think they were the show back then, except for maybe Ron Luciano. But they just umped the game and they let the managers vent on them a little bit. But it was way better. Way better.
Alexander said CC's is a pizza buffet here in Florida. Yeah, that's how it is here too. It's like, imagine it's like, hey, they're gonna go ahead and you just give them what they want to order and they bring it out there for you and say, I want mac and cheese on my pizza. They make you a little mac and cheese pizza. I'm just sorry. Anytime I see something's like Mike's Pizza, I'm not stepping foot in that joint. No way.
Yep.
Meatball Parm also saying, yeah, it's the water that makes the dough great.
Yep. Totally different water.
What a film saying, and get a tan, TJ, for that shirt. You have a beautiful wife, so you're doing something right.
We just don't know what it is.
I was about to say. Alexander also saying, no, it was in the candy bags. And when we went the trick-or-treating, when I went the time Isabel, my daughter, was 5 and my son Caleb was 4, somebody put it in the bags.
Think about that. I mean, just think about that, right? How terrible is that? Who would even think about doing that, giving something like that to a child, right? What a low life.
What a film saying, yeah, I jumped. Never forget it, Grump. Halloween is my family's favorite movie. I played it when we were kids and we went outside and banged tree branches on the window and scared the shit out of them.
That was the first movie where somebody came back from the dead to go. The music was great. Doo 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 doo. Ding, 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 ding. Oh man, good stuff. Whew, scary. I remember I went with my brother. We drove to the theater, and that was at that time the scariest movie I ever saw. No doubt was Halloween. Mm-hmm. And it's not like you're a slasher flick. Like I look at the Friday the 13th, they're more slasher flicks. This had suspense. It's like, whoa, there he is. He's coming across the street. Hide.
Oh man. And then Alexander saying they can't be fake. Oh no, I'm sorry. I feel like they are fake there. Some of them are real where it's like somebody just like grabs a hammer. I feel like I have to look at the people's reaction around there because like if they're talking way too much, I'm like, there's no way in hell. If I'm getting pissed off, I'm not talking. I'm not saying I'm so pissed I'm gonna punch a hole through a TV and I go ahead and hit a TV.
If there's no reaction of the people around, that's a good one. Or if you don't hear a wife screaming at the husband, say, what the hell is wrong with you? Those are the type of things you can tell are real.
When everybody else is just so shocked, like, what the hell is our unhinged father, uncle, relative done where he smashed a hole through the TV that we were all enjoying, that I watch my Netflix on, that I watch XYZ on. He's watching a sports game and determined to freaking eviscerate the TV. Yeah, that's the one where I'm like, ooh, those ones are real. Alexander also said the buffalo chicken pizza and barbecue pizza. I like those, but I'm just not going to Mike's Pizzeria for those. That's for certain. What a film saying, I'm telling you, when millennials are old enough to trick or treat, they stayed home because they got everything and scared each other with stupid YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Well, do you know a lot of them do these things where they meet up in like parking lots where they don't go like house to house, door to door. Like they go to like a parking lot and they just open up their trunks and let people go from like car to car now. That's what Paige is telling me. A lot of kids are doing these days and a lot of families do. They go to like, they call it trunk or treat. where they go into these. They go. Here's the thing: go house to house. That's how you get your cardio, and that's how you weigh off all the candy you're going to be eating. But they go in trunk or treat to where like they go meet like either in like a church, like a parking lot, or they just meet in like some big parking lot, and they all like they go and they grab candy from everybody's cars, and it maybe gets them the candy they're looking for, and it maybe takes like a fraction of the time, I guess. But they call it trunk or treating.
No, it was always better going from house to house. You didn't know if somebody was going to have something scary as you're walking across the lawns or something like that. Somebody sitting, whoa, that's part of it,
Oh yeah.
And one thing, we always said thank you. Always at the end said happy trick or treat, and somebody thank you. Today, kids don't say thank you. Just trick or treat, off they go.
Alexander saying Mike's Pizzeria, DJ's Pizzeria, the grumpy old man's pizzeria.
I worked in a pizzeria for 10 years. It was the best job, the most fun job I ever had.
Meatball Palm also saying, will Barry put Wahlstrom on the first line at any time this year?
I believe he will at one time. Something with an injury, maybe he will play in the first line. I hope so.
Some sort of injury, though.
Yeah, hopefully Josh Bailey gets hurt.
What the film's also saying, on a physical side of hockey, I met Bob Probert outside of Maple Leaf Garden. He was grabbing a hot dog with Kilma, and the bus drove by, honked, and they ran for the bus. Meeting Probert was incredible.
Yeah, hockey players are very, very approachable. The most approachable out of all sports, actually. All sports.
Absolutely, they are. Usually very, very down-to-earth people. Alexander saying, guys, my wife is sitting here separating out the candy. She has to take a picture.
Yeah, and you know what she's doing? She's separating the stuff she likes off to the side. Like to the right-hand side. Yeah. Not like in the big mix. It's like just a little off to the side.
Now, Grumpy, have you ever seen, like, we show these every once in a while where there's soccer clubs. This is a Brazilian team that the fans just go absolutely insane, where they go out there, they're upset they lose, and they just go and storm the pitch and start beating the hell out of the cops and the police officers and everything like that. Soccer I feel like they have the craziest fan brawls there are, the most extensive fan brawls too.
Can I ask a question? Is it illegal to wear a shirt in South America?
It's illegal to wear a shirt in Brazil. It looks like
I just wish like no one's. They got the riot police out there.
Look at the riot police that are at the game.
And here's the thing: it's not like they called the riot police. I think they were there to begin with.
I was about to say, there's no way in hell they call the riot police. These guys are always here. The policia, the
they
riot.
They look very tough. They look like.
Vai se proteger, Bruno. Vai se proteger, Bruno.
What are they protesting?
Aí não tem razão. Vai se proteger, amigo.
Maybe protesting some of those big guys taking their shirts off.
A gente toca daqui.
I don't know. I do not speak Portuguese.
First thing they do is pull up their shirts. I don't understand. Uh-oh. Oh, this is great.
Those are two fans fighting each other.
Over the border.
They got the barricade. They're fighting each other.
When fans don't stay on one side, that's the way it is in those South American countries, and even in England, it's very, very strict. They keep each fans on each side. They shall not mix because they don't want those fights.
I'll be honest with you. I don't freaking get it. Maybe we're docile fans. Like, how we talked about when we pick fun at the Tampa Bay Lightning and we call them, the librarian crew, the librarian fans. I wonder if Americans are more like a librarian crew and librarian fans, because I look at fans in England, I look at fans in, Brazil here at these soccer matches. They literally have to have lines of police officers separating the fans into support of each other, and they still beat the hell out of each other sometimes.
Here's the way I look at it. The sports in those countries are everything. It's not like here. People don't realize how good we have it here in the United States of America. They just don't. You look at some of these other countries. I mean, they're just, their whole life is their local town team. They don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. They don't live in, 5,000 square foot houses. They just don't. And I'm not saying everyone here in America does, but you understand my point. We're certainly more rich as a country than every one of those South American countries. And it's like, it's a big deal to them. And I can see why that is like their whole life. Whatever, their day-to-day existence is probably, not as great as it is here. There's not as many things to do. And it's all about the team. And I can see why they get worked up like that. Not saying it's right, but yeah.
Wanted to show you here now the Chiefs. Some Chiefs players happen to make a few of their fans a little upset. Anthony Kitchens, number 59, was saying, talking about the fans and the disrespect they get from the Kansas City Chiefs fans. All we did was go to 3 AFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls with 1 Super Bowl win in my first 3 years so far, and y'all fans will never be satisfied. It's sad. And then Tyrann Mathieu chimes in and said, big facts. This might be one of the most toxic fan bases in all of sports.
God, they never learn. The players never learn.
It's like we talk about Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor when they were doing the thumbs down to the Mets fans. I'm like, man, oh man, those are. And again, he came out and apologized. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm like, well, that's exactly what you think because you typed it. It wasn't like, oh, I wasn't really thinking that about it. You certainly were. But I'm like, the fans. You shouldn't even concern yourself with what fans think because they're in a completely different realm than you.
The fans want the team to win. If you don't play well, you're going to get booed. I'm sorry. And here's the thing, though. I don't even think he should have been forced because he was certainly forced to apologize. If that's truly the way he felt, just say it. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you're going to, and here's the thing. He's going to get booed anyway, so it doesn't matter that he apologized or not. He's going to get booed next time. I mean, but that's the way fans are. I mean, they live and die with their team. They make whatever they make. You know, these guys are all multimillionaires, and the fans are not. And if they see certain things that drive them crazy, like not trying is a big one. I think that drives every fan insane. If it doesn't seem like you're trying out there, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that's aggravating. At least you can always give effort. Wanted to bring up one more topic here to discussion. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was talking about Kylian Mbappe, right? Famous up and comer, one of the greatest, one of the world-class soccer players out there. He says, I love Mbappe, but he isn't doing enough. He can become very strong if he hurts himself. By that, he says he needs to taste blood and walk on fire. Surround yourself with people who will tell you you're not good enough and you will become the best. So Zlatan out there saying he's got too many yes men in his corner. Too many people telling him he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's stopping his pursuit to be the best.
Right, and that's part of the culture, right? Young people, don't worry, Johnny, you're the best. And here's the thing, Kylian Mbappe is a fantastic soccer player, but he can be better. You need to have someone who challenges you to get better. That's what Brady does, right? Not good enough. You're too old. You suck. He uses everything count as motivation. Where a lot of the younger athletes, it's like, hey, Kylian, you're the best. I can't believe they won't pass you the ball. That's just not right. You should sulk. You should complain about it. No, you should want to become better. And you can the truly greats in all of athletic endeavors, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they all internalize those things and work at their games to get better.
They use that as fire. Fire for the flame, or fuel for the flames. Meatball Parm says, when does Lou give a long-term deal to Sorokin?
How many years was his new deal? Was it 4 years?
Was it 2?
I don't know.
I thought it was 2-year deal, Grumpy Old Man, because I thought it was just to go ahead and last when Varlamov's deal ends.
3
years.
He's got 3 years left. This year and 2 more. Then he's a UFA. For me, I would approach him at the end of next offseason. But if he's playing fantastic this year, maybe this year.
Fair enough. What the film's also saying, no, he won't there, Meatball. That's where Grumpy is right. But I do think extending the lines rather than making it one great line, playing with 4 great lines is good for the playoffs, talking about Wallstrom when he's going to maybe get up to the first line.
Yeah, I agree.
Alexander saying, no, I think American fans are the obnoxious fans.
Yeah. If you ever look at fans, like I love soccer, European soccer, South American soccer. I love it. And you listen when they introduce the teams, the whole stadium, all the players are so behind their team. I mean, they sing their national anthems full throat. And it's like, you never see that here. Never.
Meatball Parm says, favorite Islanders goal ever was Dave Volek in Game 7 overtime, the 1993 against the Penguins. Almost jumped through the roof. Love Ray Ferraro.
That was a Friday night. I do remember that game. I remember where I was. I remember where I was sitting. I was in my bedroom watching that, the television. It was great.
What a film
Yeah.
saying. I think Halloween's the greatest horror film of all time. The Exorcist is in a fight, and I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is number 3.
See, I wasn't a super big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Same thing with Night of the Living Dead, right? That was the original. I like Dawn of the Dead way better. But if you were like one of the first, you get cold status. I watched the original Frankenstein yesterday. The original. And it's like 90 years old. 90 years old. And it still stood up, if you could believe that. I mean, and Boris Karloff was great as the monster. Really good, really, and did not say a word in the whole movie, but just the way his facial expressions as the monster and just his actions and how he was treated turned him to how he went, and when he wound up drowning the little girl innocently, just really, really, for 90 years old, really a good job.
What a Film's also saying, after this podcast, I'm going to watch a baseball game and then listen to Bob Dylan's The Times Are Changing.
The times they are a-changing. Yeah. You know what Bob Dylan is?
He's a singer.
Folk singer, yeah.
And then What a Film said, nice soccer fights. Those guys are crazy.
They're really crazy.
Huge in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of those fans, I mean, they'll
alcohol is usually involved in these fights.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And he said they live for the team, just like in Dallas. The Cowboys have a great following, but the fans in Texas are awesome.
Well, Cowboy fans do have a huge following, but when the Cowboys are bad, they turn into little crickets. You never hear from them.
Alexander said, unless you're an Islanders fan where everyone sings the national anthem.
That's right. There are occasional times and particularly after 9/11, whenever something rouses patriotic interest. But here's the thing. In these other countries, that's just the way they are. They're all for their country. And it's sadly, it's not like that.
They sing the Argentinian national anthem, the Brazilian national anthem, the German national anthem, the Swedish national anthem, the Icelandic national anthem with such pride and vigor for certain.
And they all know the words.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What a Film saying. Great podcast tonight, guys. Just about at 2 hours, and there's a baseball game going on. I think you guys need to argue more. TJ takes football seriously, and he fights for it.
He does. TJ knows more about football than I do. He played it at a very high level.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. And thank you so much there, Woodrow. And Grump, we're right here again, about at 2 hours. Let me ask you, what do you have to say here before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. And I want to say thank you to everyone who commented in. You guys, honestly, you make the podcast. I'll be honest with you, because we love interacting with people. Just love it.
Absolutely, you guys do. You guys mean the world to both me and Grumpy Old Man and the community that we have for certain. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Remember, we do this podcast live every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure you don't miss out on any of the content. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. Grump, we do have one quick question here. Meatball Parm is saying here, Glenn Healy, where does he rank for you, Grumpy?
As a goalie for he was fantastic in 93 when we got to the finals. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's not Billy Smith. I just think he kind of caught lightning in a bottle, but he was extremely popular. I'd say he's a top 5 goalie for the Islanders all time.
Absolutely. Alexander said, guys, just want to thank you guys for all the hard work you do. Love it. Keep it up and stay blessed. Thank you again, Alexander.
Yes, thank you, Alexander, and don't eat too much Halloween candy.
Thank you, Grumpy, and thank you, everybody who tuned in. We'll see you guys here. If you tune in to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or we'll see you here on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Thank you so much again, guys. We'll see you soon.